Pierce. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm happy you made it up here. This beautiful weather today,
This is far from me. This was like, I don't leave Essex County sometimes for weeks.
What is it, like 10 traffic lights?
I'm like 4 is my max. The house is more than 4 traffic lights away.
Okay.
Usually I refer to another agent.
Hey, man, it's a good. So, man, who's Pierce, man?
Pierce Conway, agent with Compass, real estate extraordinaire, but hockey lover, architecture lover, food lover, travel lover, but just a proud Jersey boy more than anything. Shameless Devils fan.
Okay.
And yeah, man, lover of all things fun, really.
At one point, Minnesota had some of your love, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I ran away from here for college. I had some family out there, love hockey, and they had a great architecture school.
Okay.
Did a camp there in high school, so I knew the campus.
Right.
And then so ran out to the Midwest, loved it. Amazing experience there. University of Minnesota, Twin Cities.
Okay.
Started in architecture. Was an architecture major, and then there was a degree called Housing Studies. Housing Studies, which is a program that disbanded by the time I graduated, but I got in, and it was all business and management within housing, and then everything housing. So community studies, environmentally friendly construction, policy. It was interesting. So and then I went to get my real estate license.
You passed the test like shot, right?
Yeah, I was like doodling in the class, and I
can imagine.
Yeah,
right?
the school could have called their real estate license and made a lot of money. So yeah, so actually I looked at like development perhaps or property management out of college, and then met a couple realtors. That whole career really intrigued me. A lot of like eat what you kill kind of thing, and also just the fluid schedule, not so much 9 to 5. I'm not one to sit down for a while. This will be sitting down for a while for me, right? And like the realtors I met, I really like felt like that was my calling.
So you had that Midwest vibe coming back to New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then New Jersey taking that to the Midwest vibe, right? Because when you were there, I'm pretty sure you were more advanced than others.
They were looking at me like, this guy does not stop. I was there at 6 a.m. I was leaving at 8 p.m. And it was like, for a moment, I sold in Minneapolis for a year before coming back. I was definitely the New York energy in the slow Midwest. Definitely worked to my benefit.
Yeah, man. I could see that because, like, again, when you go to, when you leave the East and you go in Midwest, you're like, what is this going on? And like, this guy's doing all this and yada, yada, yada. You're like, does he stop? I'm like, no, this is our DNA, man. This is how we roll up in here, right?
It's not stop.
Good. Again, thank you for coming on. We're going to talk about Essex County. I think this is like your little bread and butter. I know you cover all of New Jersey, but particularly I want to talk about some of the towns that you're covering. I know you mentioned West Orange, Montclair, Bloomfield. You are from Montclair, right? Born and raised. And so can we expand a little bit on what's that like right now going in today's housing market?
Yeah, absolutely. I live in Montclair, near downtown, offices in Montclair. So I spend probably like 70% of my business now in Montclair, but every town touches another, and our buyers and sellers are always like looking for something else. So yeah, West Orange, Little Falls, Cedar Grove, Verona, Bloomfield. And right now it's probably the hottest. I think the hottest as like a 6-town area, the hottest area in Essex County, possibly North Jersey. And mostly because all the train stations.
All the train stations.
Yeah, so
that commute into New York City.
It's commuting. I mean, New York City is the epicenter of our market. No one can deny it. Even south and way north in Bergen County, it's all about New York City. So we have that happy sweet spot where we have the Midtown direct train, and we have that kind of the suburban sort of beautiful architecture, the more relaxed setting, but we have the semi-urban energy of like the downtown Montclair, downtown Bloomfield. You can walk to stuff, and it's a big draw.
Yeah, man, it's the best of both worlds.
So many different people. Yeah,
it's the best of both worlds. Because of Montclair, I'm in the state of New Jersey.
Right.
Grove Street, man. Applegate Farms. I was seeing all that. I was like, man, I got to come out here, man. This is what it is, right? Again, because of Essex County, I reside in the state of New Jersey because there was so much you can do and so much happening, and it's so diverse. That's key, right? Because coming from the community I'm from, we were used to that. And parts of Jersey, I'm not saying it's not diverse, but I felt there was more in the Montclair area, right? There were things happening. They had the art museum. They had a lot of restaurants. Speaking of restaurants,
too many restaurants.
Right? There's a lot of restaurants now.
It's too much.
When I was there, it was like a handful. And I remember the billiards.
that's a throwback.
That's a throwback, right? I remember that. And now if you go to Montclair, Bloomfield Avenue, good luck finding parking, man. It's like, you better use that scooter bike, man. It'll get you there a little quicker.
It's the whole world's on Bloomfield Ave, and it's hard for me to eat in. because I'm like, and like you do the same thing as me. We keep in touch with all the business owners and stuff.
Right.
And it's like, they're always, they see me walking by. They're like, you coming in? And I'm like, no, I got to give love to Giotto today. You know?
Right.
Like always spreading the love, but it's a little tough on the pocket. But it keeps you, that's, keeps you going to make more sales, so you can.
Well, that's what
always,
it is, right?
Yeah, give back.
It's almost like you got to be well known, and in order to be well known, you got to be sitting there eating. And sometimes you don't, you're looking at it like, damn, I don't feel like spending X amount of dollars, but you're like, I can meet that one person that can change it, especially in that price point of Montclair.
Countless stories.
Wow.
Yeah, countless. I mean, that was like, there was a bar called Halcyon, and I would go there once or twice a week.
Okay.
Probably 2021, as things were loosening up, I was there. It was a quarter block from my place.
Okay.
But I was there at least once a week, especially Fridays. I just go there.
Okay.
And I learned that from a book, Never Eat Alone by Guy Fierazi.
Never Eat Alone.
Amazing book.
Check this book out. Never Eat Alone.
Never Eat Alone.
By Guy Fierazi.
You can kind of guess by the title what it's about.
Okay.
It's about, don't worry, like you host a dinner party. Don't worry about 15 people coming. Invite 4 people over.
Right.
Go to the same lunch spot, the same day at the same time. Like find your spots, find your people. A, so it's fun. So you're enjoying your networking and stuff, but B, so you're consistent. And C, so you're out there.
You're out there.
You're not making any business sitting scarfing down a lunch in your car or eating at the office.
Right.
And so that I adopted that, and it's very easy to do in Montclair. But so that's what I do. The part of my business, I just walk. I leave the house with no plan, and I do a loop, guaranteed 3 to 5 conversations. Guaranteed every time I leave the house. Yeah, and my girlfriend now is suffering because we can't get to our reservation on time.
Right. Because everybody knows who Piers Conway is, right?
And it's a little self-serving, but that's it. I mean, I'm building a brand for myself, but it's awesome because I run across the street to see a friend I haven't seen in a while, and like they feel the love, I feel the love, and it's like it's really tangible. You feel it, right?
Is it fair to say that you are the ambassador for Montclair?
That's a better word. Yeah, people start throwing the word mayor around. Not in a million years. Not in a million years. But yeah, that's good.
It's a good thing, right?
Right.
I mean, like you're walking around, everybody knows you locally, everybody knows what you can provide, and people call on you because you've proven that you can perform when it comes to anything real estate in these areas, right? So this is why you're doing what you're doing. And kudos to you on that one, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, you got to close. You can't. It's one thing to be everyone's friend, but
the numbers mean a lot.
Then they hi. Then they work in the, and then I put the therapist hat on.
That part, right? That part.
And then,
so I would consider that's a particular vibe you have now. So I'm gonna throw out the word vibe because everybody's saying, like, politically, I'm not gonna talk about politics, but everybody's talking about vibes. I've always been a positive vibe kind of guy. I always mention it in my post. I'm like, life is good, positive vibes. So what do you call yourself as a realtor with the vibe segment of it? Is it positive energy, positive vibes, positive? What kind of vibe do you have?
I try to keep it like that, as positive as possible. I'm like rather. I used to have this saying, a little slogan. I used to write the 2 letters on my hand: relentlessly optimistic. Okay. No matter what's going on, we're relentlessly optimistic. And it's not so much. You can say I'm an optimistic person, but are you relentless with it? Or the first time there's some trouble or an obstacle, that goes away. I try to always be problem-solving focused. But I've learned, over the last few years, especially, you can't always be Mr. Nice Guy, right? And not everything is possible. So, lately I've been trying to lean into sort of this like dynamic sort of chameleon kind of vibe where like I can change and talk different languages to different people. Cause like some people don't want to say, hi, how are you doing? They want to call 10-second call, blunt, to the point, tell me what to do, and we're done. Some it's a 30-minute phone call every time you talk. And all right, that's fine. Like, so definitely chameleon vibe lately as far as wearing hats, speaking different languages, not literally, but emotionally.
Right. I understand the different temperatures in these relationships, right?
And that's what's got me a lot of success because I work with investors, I work with home buyers, I work with sellers, I work with renters and landlords. I do it all.
All right, man, check you out.
It's interesting, like even doing the rentals, like I'm representing the landlord,
right?
And I'm connecting really well with the tenant applicant,
right? And
they want me to work for them, and I got to work for the landlord, and it's like. That's a whole different skill in of itself to be able to, how do we get in a lease and close and a check?
You're doing this by yourself.
And I give as many showings out to other agents who are ready to work as well. If I can't be there, I can't be there. But the landlord looks at the numbers. Maybe credit's all right, income's growing, but he'll always ask or she'll always ask, what were they like in person? And it's like, so it's nice for me to be there and be able to connect with that person and not just rely on like everyone else doing it.
But, I want to touch on that. You said what they are like in person.
Right. Exactly.
I think too many times, because we're looking for short-term wins, right? We're just looking at the algorithms.
Right.
They hit a certain, score on their credit. They're like, you presume that they're going to be okay and make monthly payments. But at the end of the day, if someone loses their job, they just lose their job. They're out, right?
Right.
So I'd rather someone who's subpar and who's eager to let me know that they're going to continue to make monthly payments. So your landlords, the investors trusting you to speak to potential tenants about what do you see and what makes, like, to ensure that they're going to satisfy monthly payments to the investor.
Exactly.
That's so important. I think a lot of us miss that today.
Right.
But that just means the relationships you have with your investors, right? That's so important. Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of us don't hear that today. Like, oh, I didn't get this credit. I don't have this certain credit score. I can't even apply to this building.
Right.
You're saying, wait, hold on. Let's have a conversation. Let me see where you're at. And then I know my investor, he or she or the team will give you a pass, assuming you're building to a better path, showing that you can make monthly payments. So that's very cool, man. I appreciate that.
You got to keep it human. I mean, the big buildings, they got to fill 300 units.
Right.
Churn and burn. But that's not the stuff I'm working on. I'm working on like local landlords who have between 4 to maybe up to 30 units, and they know they're in town. They want to know. I mean, they don't want to be scared to show up to the property, because the guys or the tenants in there are like not good communicators, right? And the credit score doesn't show that, income doesn't show that.
No, it doesn't.
And same thing with buyers and sellers. Like, I bring some sellers to the market, and if they're not ready to transact, it's not fun for the buyer's agents. No,
it isn't. No.
I might have someone who has a $2 million pre-approval letter, but if they're a pain to deal with, they're not getting the house.
No.
So there's only so much in our control. We got to close deals, and if it's a little tough as far as communication in the interim, so be it. We learn everything with every single deal, right?
Right. I think real estate is one of those things that every day is something new. So how are you dealing with first-time home buyers? If you are working with them, right?
Yeah, a lot of first-time home buyers. I have a great friend from high school who's under contract in South Orange right now.
That's what's up, man. Good stuff.
It's like over-information. A lot of like base-level stuff. We cut right to the point.
Right.
Our homes are old. You're going to spend 20 grand off the rip day after closing on unknown stuff.
Right? Just like, boom, just take my money.
There's insects, there's weather, there's neighbors, there's all this stuff. So like, we just get ahead of that. Like, the first couple of showings with me are kind of intense. I'm just like rattling off all this stuff, and they've got like decent amount of collateral and some content videos online that you could refer to, but like, I tell it to them straight to their face. That way it's not surprised later, because the inspections for 100-year-old houses aren't fun. No, they're terrible. The worst.
So you manage the expectations up front.
Right away.
Right. So you take any like nervousness or any like I'm concerned. You're just like, look, this is what it is. We're gonna work through it. But this is what it is right now.
We're gonna make it work. You have your down payment, right?
Right.
Is that your whole savings account, or do you have extra?
Right.
You have 10 extra. It's not gonna be enough. Like, you should have a cushion. Like, and each price point, it's like, for this price point, you should have 20 in the bank. For this price point, you should really have 50 in the bank after closing.
Right.
That way, doing that little stuff ahead of time makes everything else easier. And then the bad news along the way is that they're less vulnerable to freak out.
Right.
Because if they're well-founded at that beginning of the search, then it helps. But,
so you two are laying the groundwork for fiscal responsibility.
That's a big thing. And that definitely, that mindset bleeds itself probably a little too far. Like, I try not to be a financial planner,
right?
But I try to tell people, like, are you renting at $3,500 right now?
Right.
You buy at 1.5, your mortgage payment's going to be $7 minimum a month. You're going to double up your housing payment. Like, I know all your friends are buying, and Instagram are showing keys and all this stuff. Like, is it smart for you to buy?
Right.
You're good in your 2-bed. You got your laundry unit. Hang out.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense, right? Like, don't fall into the pressure to buy something just to buy something. If I know a client's not going to have furniture and not going to go on vacation for 3 years, I don't let them buy. Right. Or I make sure they're in a more reasonable price point.
Right.
Because I'd rather get the phone call that everything's good, never hear from them again.
Right.
Right.
The key word is down payment, right? Just because someone buys something for 1.5, they could have a $400,000 mortgage. You don't know where that down payment came from. So don't get caught up in what you see, because sometimes there are other things behind that down payment scenario. Your case is always different because you can only control what you have when it comes to monies, right? Going back to what you were saying with social media, just because you see others doing what they're doing, you don't know the true story behind it. So you can only control what you have. And I'm happy that you're having these conversations with them, like giving like the little hat. Look, you're gonna do this. I know you're gonna talk to my partner, my referral partner. I just want to make sure that you have certain things in line before you talk to my partner, because he or she is going to make sure we get the proper approval, because sometimes hiccups do happen. And in the cases that the markets that you're covering, especially, sometimes listing agents will like, hey, let me see some assets. Can you send that to me on the side? Let me see it. And we just make sure that person has enough money just in case it doesn't appraise accordingly, that we can still buy the house. But again, going back, going back to the areas you were to service.
It's minimum, you know, and then if they have it in 7 different accounts, and like I have $200,000, but it's, you know, there's 35 here, there's you know 145 in a non-liquid account, like you know how much tax you're paying on that if you liquidate that in 3 weeks from now. You know,
trust me, I've been through it. Yeah, I liquidated when I was moving to my second home. You know, during the housing crisis, I had to tap into my retirement account, and there was a big fee for it. But I knew for sure that this is what I wanted, and I was going to deal with the consequences. The taxes weren't fun paying it, but you got to understand what makes sense for you and your family at that point, right? Exactly. So what gets you out of bed, man?
It's a lot of this, like the problem solving. There's definitely a way to get into people's lives, figure out these problems. I think it's like this glamorous, like Architectural Digest, these funny videos that everyone's making. Look at this, like 6-bedroom, 6-bath. But at the end of the day, it's like we're talking about shelter. Right. You know, and then beyond that, livelihood. Oh, like you see someone buy a house and then their lifestyle shoots up through the moon because they got what they want. They got out of that tiny, like tight little apartment. They're showing up to work happier, right? Then the partner, they're, you know, coming together, having babies, building a life. That's what I do. Okay. Yeah, I create life experiences.
Create life. Yeah, I like that one.
And it's deep, you know. So being able to get into people's lives and help with that, you know, like as a man, I get little texts pictures from my clients, like of just a new fence or something, and they're like showing me off, like they just painted the Mona Lisa, you know, and I love it. Like that's what gets me out of bed. Like, you know, I just got a text before what went on, like, hey, we're at a barbecue this weekend, can you come by? You know, it's like, so like you're building a community. I'm solving problems, helping people improve their lives. I'm also helping people navigate, you know, times where life's not improving, you know, death, divorce. You know, I'm helping developers sometimes deal with sticky situations. Yeah, I mean, that opportunity to help people, it's by no means like community service. You know, I'm making money, right? I'm getting paid, but like, it's fun to like know that I'm helping someone.
It's straight natural, right? Yeah. So that's why you're getting all those listings, right?
Right. Well, I paint a picture like your value's up. Okay. You can capitalize. You want to get to the 12 unit? Well, let's sell the 3 unit and let's get up there. You know, you want to buy the vacation property? Okay. Let's do it. You want us to keep being a landlord? No, let's get it. Now's the time. Right. Now's the time. It's not. It should be some taboo thing like it's bad if I sell. This is why you. This is why you had it.
Right. You started with something.
This is what you do. You buy and you sell. Yeah, I'm a very trader mindset. Again, not to my strict benefit of like making a commission. It's like you're gonna wait, and then whatever you wanted to buy is gonna be more expensive 3 years from now. Right.
I always tell
why wait?
That, right.
Let's do it now.
If the opportunity's there, let's strike.
And if you don't get the number you want, so be it.
Right.
You know, like every strategy, you know, is hand curated for my clients and their objectives. And it's kind of funny when not funny, but it's interesting when they want me to consult with them and they're expecting me to put them in this box. Like, this is what I do. I'm like, no. What are we doing? Like, what, all right, what's next year? All right, what's the year after that? What's after that?
Right.
Okay, let me get back to you. And then I make them like a created, like a custom proposal of what they should do. And it's not always the same answer.
I don't, wow, you just divulged a lot. I promise you, man. I'm sitting down like, wow, you know, like you said, you know, everybody thinks they can fit in that one box.
Right.
And you're like, no. That's not your box.
Right, exactly.
Let's think about different ways that works for you and your family, whether it be buying or selling, right? I'm here to, you know, help you guide that part, right?
Exactly.
So, well, you packed a lot on. So what do you expect for spring 2025, man, which is around the corner?
It's going to be, can you curse here?
Heck yeah.
It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be the same old shit. And I feel bad for the people who think it's going to be this down, like a down market.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm guessing like the Idahos of the world and New Hampshires and it's kind of traditionally tertiary markets that boomed in 2020, 2021.
Right.
And hung on for 2022, definitely dipped for 2023 and grabbed a lot of headlines this year.
Right.
Not in Essex County. Certainly not in Essex County. And certainly not Montclair, Bloomfield, Glen Ridge, even West Orange. There's just too many people. There's not enough inventory. Homes. And the people who, the stories you've heard of sitting on 3% interest rate from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or the people who bought in 2012 for $600,000. Like, they're not moving.
They're not moving.
They're not going anywhere.
No. You and I had these conversations.
Yeah, like they're not. Forth, right? No one's like all of a sudden leaving.
Right.
And even if they did, everything would be scooped up. We would need like probably in Montclair, we've been floating around 45 listings in town from 200,000 to 8 million, and like there's 2 at 8 million, which is not much, but like that's the spread. Right. 45 houses in an $8 million range, right? So call it $2 million range.
Right.
That's our sweet spot, like 6 to 2. 40 houses like that 600 people are looking at. So we would literally need 600 homes next year to satiate just on the short term.
Which is scary. That's why the home prices are where they are, right? Someone who's sitting on a $600,000-$700,000 house, they're like, I'm not selling.
I'm not selling.
So someone who's selling at a 1.3, they're going to sell. So when you look at it, you're like, I can't afford here. And
so it goes to Bloomfield. Right. It goes to East Orange. It goes to Little Falls. Right. It goes the prices. It's been like an epicenter, and then now you're like seeing like Patterson 700,000.
700,000 in
Love
Patterson?
to see it, right? Newark, we know, like it's opportunity everywhere.
So you're making a case that you're saying right now that you think surrounding towns are just going to grow because there's just not enough inventory.
Not enough inventory. I mean, people are drinking the punch. They're all about the opportunity.
Right.
It's the American dream. It'll never end. And you're just, I think, like, despite, I see a lot of cases of rich getting richer, poor getting poor. Right. Not just also the American dream as well, unfortunately. Right. Unfortunately. Not the American dream, the American way. The strength in the middle sector, like the middle of the economy.
It's screwed.
Screwed for some,
right.
But I think really strong for others. And I think it's only going to get stronger. Right. I think, despite what we say about the younger generation not ready to work, there's a middle generation that are working their asses off. Right. There's company owners that have had, think about like just an average guy who owns a painting company who's in his 10th year of business. He can go to a number of lenders like yourself and get actually a really good loan, get good terms. Like, then you got people who've been, maybe like more like my age, like 35. They've been working on Wall Street for 9 years.
9 years, and they got a
boatload
of money, right?
I get like these renters who have like $400,000 in the bank and 800 credit score, and they're just renting at like $6,000 to $4,000 a month just because they're not ready to buy. So like that's what people sitting on the sidelines. There's like they're just crazy. So like, and then you have the baby boomers who are moving close to their grandkids.
Right.
So that's a whole.
That's a different.
That's straight cash.
Yeah, that's
you can't even pay them to finance.
Right.
Like
they made more money keeping in their savings account than anything else right now because they had enough money and it's just been compounding and they've had their houses they probably paid like $200-$250 back then.
They sold someone like some other market for 2 or 3. Like there was this woman we showed a house to. It was my listing. Another agent brought the buyer. She was looking for her weekend home in Montclair.
Weekend home in Montclair.
She was living in Boston.
Okay.
Right. Her grandkids are in Montclair.
Weekend home in Montclair.
For the grandkids. For the grandkids.
Okay.
Shopping at $2 million. She bought something for $2.6 million. She's not going to be there. She's going to be there 2 weekends a month. Crazy.
We're talking about money, man. 2.6. I'm using it
for the weekend home.
Weekend home.
Not in the Hamptons. Not upstate Hudson Valley. Not the shore.
Montclair, New Jersey.
By Brookdale Park, which is kind of a nice play. I mean, hats off to her, but that's what the spring market's bringing.
So to that point, if you're looking to buy a home right now, I encourage you to contact Piers Conway right now because it's going to change. If you're sitting on the sideline, you're thinking that you're going to see some opportunities because somebody in Yahoo said that it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. For whatever the case is, Piers and I, both professionals, are telling you right now, if you see something that you want to get into, this is the time to strike because the opportunity may not be there when it comes to the spring market.
Right. And then, I mean, the winter market is usually slimmer with inventory, but
that's when I bought my house.
That's the better time to buy. You rather be slim inventory, slim buyer pool than slim inventory, large buyer pool.
Yeah, the challenges are there. The challenges are there, man.
You got to pick through the scraps a little bit, find a diamond in the rough. But I think we have to go back. A lot of the buyers have to go back to what they don't want. A house that needs some paint, some love, and some work.
Right.
That's the better option, to buy something that needs some love and figure it out. Leverage your realtor's connections, leverage your family's connections, leverage the neighborhood connections. Right. And get it done. Then wait for the perfect product that has 3,500 views on Zillow and a line out the door at the open house. Like, that's not what you want.
It's a challenge, which means you should also be looking at homes that are in certain areas, but they need a whole lot of work, because we do provide renovation mortgages, right? There's what we call home style, and then there's also called 203K, right? You can buy the home and it could be a shitty home, but the neighborhood can be as dope as possible. I mean, as cool. The neighborhood could be cool. We're gonna edit that one. The neighborhood could be cool, but the house could be shitty. But through renovation, you can fix those homes through home style and 203. That can help you, because remember, you can't change the neighborhood, but you can change the house.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, if you move in and invest in your spot, even if it's a rough block, you're gonna add value.
We've seen that.
Yeah, it's in a good way. Right. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid. Really, I wouldn't be afraid to buy anywhere, except for short, maybe not next to a freight line, a train line. But I think it's really important to have an open mind. I mean, I get a lot of laundry lists for requests, and it's like, it's not that easy. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I mean, look at it. I'll talk about Ryan Serhant, right? Yeah. Calls it Tribeca West.
Right.
It's a silver building, is a brown building. That's the projects across the street. Right. But because he called it Tribeca West, it's like, this is the spot.
Good marketing.
He's made it, I'm not saying those in the area have made it comfortable that they're gentrifying it to bring up the property value, 1, 2, add more what I would call up and vibing area. And because of that, now when they bought it 3, 4 years ago, they probably doubled their money right now. Right. And if someone would have looked at it and said, I'm not moving by LES, Lower East Side. I'm not going over there. How dare you? Now you're looking at it like made like 30 to 60%. And what are you talking about? Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? And so my point is, it's the same thing that's happening in areas of Essex County, right? Don't be afraid and just say, I don't see nothing happening. If you give it time and you get patient with it, you will see the return. I mean, we got to get out of our mindset of day trading our homes.
Right.
I mean, we did that, and the market was at the low 2-3% interest rates. I get that. But today, because of the inventory that we don't have, it's important for you to see the potential and then add value to it, because I think it will be there given what's going on in the tri-state area. Right. So that's good stuff, man. So going back, when at one point, I have to throw that in there. You was a mixologist, right? You had different things going on with the brown stuff, the white stuff. You stepped away from it, but how was that experience, if you want to talk about it for 2-3 seconds?
Yeah, man, it was a total accident how it started. We had a listing in Montclair, and there was this awesome bar cart in the living room.
Right.
I was there with my team member at the time, and I was like, and the house was nice. It was a cool house, but it wasn't like a 2-minute property tour house, with like sweeping views, and we have no pool, no like this and that. But it was a cool house. It was downtown Montclair, and I was like, what if I just like make a cocktail at this bar cart, and you film it and we post it as like the alternative to the video, like maybe they're coming soon, like the little teaser was like, video's been around for a while, but this was 2021, and I was like, yeah. Like, she was like, yeah, why don't you make a mint julep? And I was like, what's in that again? And she's like, and it was like 3 ingredients. Right. And I was like, all right, I'll be right back. So I ran home, got my barware. I had whiskey. It was like just sugar. I grabbed some mint from like the restaurant at the bottom of my building. Right. And then I came back and we did like a 2-take video. I made a mint julep. It was hilarious. I had like a couple awesome spoofs, and we did the video. She put some music on it. I posted it, and like people went crazy for it.
Wow.
And it was then like, that was born Cocktails of Pierce.
Okay, Cocktails of Pierce. Okay.
And then I started doing for like most of my listings, and then some businesses around town. My buddy opened a barbershop. We did one there. We worked in some interview stuff like this.
Speaking of barbershop, mention their name because you talked about them a lot.
Key Cuts Barbershop, best around. Okay. Shout out to Key Cuts, Zane Keys, boy from middle school. Best barbershop in Montclair. It's down Church Street. right downtown. 4-year anniversary on Saturday, actually.
4-year anniversary.
4-year anniversary.
Okay, that's good stuff, man. I always like to hear stories like that. Right?
Montclair owned, Montclair raised, Montclair owned. And then we started getting the videographer and the production. I brought up to the Hudson Valley to my mom's listing, and then it kind of spiraled out of control and it became a lift. And the funniest thing was, the best results were the ones with the phone, and that were like one take. And it was because it was real, it was authentic, it was fun, it was easy. I think of all marketing, you think about, in all brand development, what's easy? Yeah. What's something that won't get in your way? Keeping
it simple, because as long as you get the message, you're good, right?
Right.
The other stuff is just glamour. It doesn't really, we're here on the set, but because I love podcasting,
right,
this is why I have you here. But honestly, we can do this from the basement of my house and be like, yo, what's up? What's going on? And we share the information. Let's go. But I just feel like I want to add a little more flavor in there.
Of course.
But like you said, keeping it simple, it definitely penetrates. It makes more, it gives credibility. Like you said, people are like, okay, he's real. He's this and that. And so let's rock with it. And it's cheaper.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to tell me about that. That was the best part. And I've never bartended. I've no formal mixology training, but that's the whole goal was like, you're going to buy this house. You're going to buy a sweet bar cart. You're going to make drinks for you and yourself, your friends, your guests.
Right.
After you buy this house, tying it all back into the lifestyle, the feeling, like making someone a cocktail in your own home that you own. Try to top that.
Wow.
That's like graduation, your kid's level. Like that's what I feel like. That's a life experience that is worth. Even that you can rent a sick apartment and do that, right? You can be living in your parents' house, invite people. Who cares?
College days.
Yeah, it's like hosting. That's really where I'll start. And I've always been a host.
Okay.
So parlayed that video. My next kind of efforts were a monthly just meet up kind of group in Montclair at this bar venue, the Clubhouse, and then did that for 5 months and kind of moved on. So I'm a bit squirrely with my efforts, but that was fun. That was a lot of fun, and it was just it was integrated. That was too was good. Yeah.
I remember I was attracted to what you were doing online with it. I felt like that was a good calling. Speaking of. Look, there's a lot of restaurants in Montclair that you like, and some may get offended. Give me 2-3 of your favorite restaurants in Montclair. We like every restaurant in Montclair. Let's just be very clear. We give love to Montclair. We're talking about Montclair heavily, right?
There's a day for everybody.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But what are 2-3 restaurants that you like in Montclair?
So I'm on Walnut Street, and there's Egan's and Halcyon on my block.
That's history there.
That's easy. I have a craving every other Friday. I need wings at Egan's.
Okay.
And they got great beer, great staff. Got some TVs up, but it's all. You can bring anybody there. You can do.
I'm gonna throw in Montclair Brewery.
Yep. That's the trifecta. You go get a beer at the brewery, and then you go get a cocktail at Halcyon, and then you and then Egan's, and if you can make it up the hill to Tierney's.
If you can make it up the hill,
you got a night. That's a night.
Okay.
And then if you're trying to wow, Faubourg never misses.
Right.
It's just all hits there.
The outside inside.
The outside inside. Okay. They got a staff of 70 there. You turn left, you turn right.
Someone there.
Your glass is filled.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a nice restaurant.
Yeah, they got it. And then there's one little spot, Giotto, on Church Street, that deserves some love. Italian food, grandma style. Just lasagna, spaghetti meatballs. So
you don't got to go to Carmine's?
No.
Good stuff. Pierce, man, thank you so much for coming on. Let's talk about it. As always, please share some of your information so people can find you online.
Yeah, man. So just Pierce Conway on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me. Thankfully, a unique name. Find me there. Pierce Conway, Pierce.Conway Compass. You can just first Pierce Conway Compass, it'll pop up. But I'm here. I'm here to answer questions, here to help. I'm always a resource. And I also do a lot of talking with family and friends about their affairs out of state and with their family and friends, so that I'm always ready to chop it up, even if it's not for an immediate sale here, but they can give some advice to their grandma, their aunt, their uncle, a friend moving somewhere else. I'm here to help with that because it's pretty universal stuff.
Right.
At least it gets to come from me, someone they know. Everybody knows someone moving.
Right.
Everyone knows someone or should be moving. Right. And I get to inject that energy into other people's lives. So
this is why you're in the right circle.
Right. Exactly.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Again, like, subscribe wherever you are on your favorite streaming platform. I am there. Let's talk about it. Jimmy Mortgage. Thank you again, Pierce.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
My man. Appreciate you.